Welcome to Polytechnic English. My dear students, already we were been learning English and you know the importance of learning English. The importance of English is it increases your chances of getting a job, a good job in the multinational company within your home country, or it is also the language of international communication where the media and the internet is playing an important role. Apart from this, you also know it increases the status in a society, and for all this you must know all the language skills, and in that you have a part known as using a dictionary in the first sem. So how to use a dictionary? So at the time of the industrial revolution, there was a great need to educate people in every country. People started to write and sell dictionaries. In the US, for instance, Webster in 1828, often called as the founding father of dictionary, he wrote a dictionary, that he composed a dictionary with a new spelling because he was a nationalist. And after that, in France, in 1866, the person named Larousse had the ambition to give access to all the knowledge to the whole population, including poor people. Although British dictionaries date back to the early 17th century, and the most well-known is Johnson. Among these, in 1755, the Oxford Dictionary appeared at the end of the 19th century, and still it has its own importance in using it. So there are many dictionaries. So whichever you feel better, you can use. But among that, Webster and the Oxford they are using at present. Now the e-dictionaries are also available. Okay. Now, how many kinds? There are many kinds of dictionaries, different kinds of dictionaries. There is bilingual dictionary, that is, you're having the one is in English and other is in mother tongue. Whichever the language you want to use, you can use. Then monolingual dictionary. This is just uh, one subject, one language dictionary. That is English language you have, where you have the meaning. There's a one word and you have different meanings for that one. Etymological dictionary. This is, you know, the origin of the word. It is from Latin or Greek. Many words are derived from Anglo-Saxon or Latin or Greek. So this is etymological dictionary. Then crossword dictionaries, then rhyming dictionaries, mini dictionaries, pocket dictionary, and thesaurus. The students are advised to carry the pocket dictionary because cell phones are not in use in the classroom. So you are tend to use the pocket dictionary. Okay. Now, what is a dictionary? Already you know, many of you think that dictionary is just it has the words, a set of words written in a book. No, it is a reference book about words and such describes the functioning of individual words. So this is called lexical times, and the one who composes or writes the dictionary is called lexicographer. It does so by listing these words in alphabetical order, that is, you find from A to Z, and in the form of headwords. So when you open the dictionary, you find the headwords at the top of that book. Then you have the words listed as entries in the dictionary. So a dictionary is a compilation of words. So you can't say dictionary is written, you say you compile a dictionary. So dictionary is a compilation of words ranging from letters A to Z. When reading or writing an article, that is deciphering profound word or phrase, the use of dictionary could be of great help. Primarily, its purpose is to give meanings to words. So whenever we think of meaning, we just go for the dictionary. So the primary purpose is to find the meaning. But however, there are many advantages of using a dictionary. Now we'll see what are the advantages or what are the benefits of using this dictionary. The first one is correct pronunciation of the words. So when you open the dictionary, beside a word, you find the word written in two parallel lines, that is slangs, that is called phoneme, also called as that helps for pronunciation of the words. There are phonetics, okay, that is pronunciation of the words. That helps how to pronounce the words. Then next important is identifying the root words whose meanings can be derived from the root words. Okay, so this word, it derives from which word, like Latin or Greek or Arabic, whatever. Then meaning of the words when used in different form, that is parts of speech. Like after that word, you have small n or a or v that describes whether which part of the speech it has. It has a noun, it verbs or adjective. It depends upon the sentence you use that word. So the word cannot be we cannot identify in isolation which part of the speech it belongs to. When it is in a sentence, we can say which part of speech does it contain. Next one, a great translation tool from one language to another. So whenever you want to get the meaning in your mother tongue, you just go for the dictionary, and beside that word, you try to translate that word to know that meaning of that word. Next, you can get more meanings, that is more words, that is vocabulary builder. So more words are learnt. Next, when used in conjunction with thesaurus, anyone of the knowledge of the language or words can improve phenomenally. That means you can find the synonym, you can find the antonym in thesaurus, whereas in dictionaries you don't have that synonym, you don't have the antonyms. Even the idioms are found in thesaurus. Okay, finally, the correct source to find out the meaning and the usage of the most common as well as wrongly interpreted words. Suppose if you know how to pronounce the word like Spinach. Some will say spinach. Some says spinac. Some says spinach. So the correct word, if you go for the, if you look in the dictionary for that particular word, you know by that phonetically, it is spinach. Cha word. Okay. Next. So already I said the head words. So these you can, the words are arranged in alphabetical order. That is A to Z. You should be perfect from A to Z. When you are perfect in that order, then you can find the words. You can quickly find the meaning. So here you can see center. CENTRE is the British word, whereas CENTER is a US word. So both are center, but some you can find that center is written as CENTER. That is US spelling, American spelling. CENTRE is British spelling. Okay, but here you can see the two slangs, and that is center. Okay, CNTR. Sa, a, na, ta, a, ra. That is center. And here the words with this content. So here this is written in phonetic phonemes. This is written in pronunciation. You can see the pronunciation by seeing this phonetic description of that word. So the head word is used to look up the information about it. So when you want to find out the word acrobat, you can see with a the many words, many meanings for that. Next, parts of speech of a word. Already I said, there are, like here you can see new, N, that is noun. A small animal with a long body and tail, short, weak legs and cold, wet skin. A type of salamander it is. Next, here you can see this also is new. This is next. This is pronoun, adjective, not gradable, being the first one later after the present one or after the one just mentioned. Here you can see adjective for ADGs, adjectives, ADVEs, adverbs, CONG is conjunctions, ENTRG is interjections, N is for noun, PREP is preposition, PRON is pronoun, and V for verb. So whenever you find the word, after that you will write, you will see the phonetic transcription of that word. Then you can see the part of speech written beside that word. Okay. Now identify all the parts of a dictionary. So when you go for the dictionary, just look at here. You have first the word is written. This is the word, and to that word you have phonetic transcription. Why this phonetic transcription? To know the pronunciation of the word, how to pronounce that word, whether it is a stick or strike. Okay. Then you have the four meanings. Here strike, a stop, here that is N is noun, Okay, this is transcription, phonetic transcription for pronunciation. Then you have parts of speech, that is noun here. Then what is the meaning? They have four meanings written: a stoppage of work or other activities to protest something. Second meaning, a pitch ball that is thrown perfectly. Third meaning, a military attack. And the fourth meaning, discover that is lucky or fortunate. So you have four meanings. First one is common meaning, second meaning, third meaning, and the third meaning and the fourth meaning. Okay. Now, how to use a dictionary effectively? Reasons for using a dictionary. So already know dictionary is very important tool for anyone who is learning a new language. If you want to learn even the Japanese or German or Telugu or whatever the language, you first have to get the dictionary, and it should be a bilingual. With a good dictionary, you can. And what are the steps you have to follow while learning a new language? Check it out here. First, you have to look up the meaning of the English word you see or here. So whenever you hear a new word or whenever you come across any new word, you have to look up the meaning. First, guess the meaning. Actually, don't look up the meaning. Try to guess from the sentence you read. After guessing, then look up the meaning in a dictionary. Then find the translation of a word in your language. Check the spelling of this, very, very important. Check the spelling of a word. Check the plural of a noun or past tense of a verb. Then find out other grammatical information about a word. Then find the synonym, antonym. Look up the collocations of a word where they are used day-to-day life. Then check the part of speech, how to say a word. Find how to say a word. Find out about the register of a word, and find example of the use of a word in natural language. So these are the reasons why we read. What are the reasons for using a dictionary? Okay, so to be a good dictionary user, it is not enough to know what to use the dictionary for. You must also decide which is the best dictionary, and for the above purpose listed, as well as you need to be able to find what you're looking for quickly, and you should be sure that you have what you're looking for. And most important, when to use your dictionary. You need to know when to use your dictionary. Now, finding the right meaning of an English word. Very often when you look up a new English word, you find that it has more than one meaning. Already we have seen. There are four meanings. If you're not sure which one is correct, now here what you can do. So you can see there are four words, four meanings for one single word. What we have to do, ma'am? Here. First, check through all the meanings and find the one that makes most sense in the context where you found the word. In a sentence, you see how it is, how can you interpret that word. Okay. So very often, many of the different meanings are similar, and this should be enough to give you a good idea what the word means. So from the sentence itself, you can guess what it is conveying, what the idea is conveying. Second, if you really want to make sure, think what the word is in your own language and look up it in bilingual dictionary, because you're learning a new language. If it is a new language, try to take a bilingual dictionary. If one of the English translations is the original word you look up, then you can be satisfied that you have found the right meaning. That means, suppose in your bilingual dictionary, the word has the same meaning what you have checked in the English dictionary, that means you are satisfied that is both have the correct meaning of that word. Okay. Now find the right spelling. Another problem you may have is when you have to check your spelling, you, you can't find the word you're looking for. Now what can you do? If you're sure of the first few letters, now just look down the page until you find the right spelling. Again, it is helpful to check the meaning is the one you expect. If you're not sure of the first few letters, try some other possibilities. For example, that some words that starts with a N sound have K as the first letter. Example, knife. Knife, it starts with the first letter K. Okay. But don't just go for N, because the word itself starts with the first letter K. So if we can't find the word under N, try to look up for the K page. Okay. There are many missing words. Similarly, many words like um, tsunami. Tsunami, we think that it starts with yes. No, it starts with the T. So we go for yes. Again, if you don't find that particular meaning for that S, then come for T. Okay. If you still can't find the word, think what is it is in your language and look up in your bilingual dictionary. Now find the right English translation of a word in your language. So when you look up a word in your own language in a bilingual dictionary, you will probably find that there is more than one English translation. If you're not sure which to use, you could try a back translation. That means that you look up the English translations one by one in a monolingual dictionary. If a word has a definition that matches the word in your language, so both matches in your bilingual dictionary and in a monolingual dictionary, both the word matches, then you are safe. That means you can use. Here, before that, uh, like many of the words, you know, then, THEN, there, THER. So here just take two words, THEN, THER. One we are saying the sound, one we are saying then, there. One more, THANKS, thanks. Take three words, THEN, THANKS, THERE. So then, THEN, then. There, THERE, there. THANK is thanks. So TH is used as the, TH is using as the. So be careful. For this, you have to go for the phonetic learning. That is phonetics. You have to be sure, you have to learn by heart all the phonetics because it helps for pronunciation. Without pronunciation, you cannot go further for any of the skills. As you're learning A to Z, all the letters, similarly, you have to know all the sounds of an English language, that is phonetics. Okay. So there are 44 sounds in English and 24 are consonants and 20 are vowels. Don't think that 5 are vowels. There are 20 vowels and 24 consonants. And other 8 are diphthongs. Altogether 20 vowels, 24 consonants. Again, in 20 vowels, you have 12 um, so out of 44 sounds, you have 24 consonants and 20 vowels. Again, in 20 vowels, you have 12 12 vowels, okay, pure vowels, and 8 diphthongs. So altogether, 44 sounds are there in English. If you learn thoroughly, then you can learn all the phonetic transcription of that particular word, and simultaneously you can know the pronunciation of that word. Okay. Next, uh, okay. Which is the longest word in English dictionary? Just spell and see. This is pneumono ultra microscopic silico volcanoniosis. So this is the longest word in any of the major English language dictionaries. And what is that refers to? The word refers to a lung disease contracted from the inhalation of very fine silica particles, especially from a volcano. It is same as silicosis. So when the person who works in the silicon particles, when they inhale, they get this type of disease. And it is very difficult to pronounce such a word, isn't it? Okay, now which is the shortest word? See here, eunoia. This is 6 letter long, but it is the shortest word in English language that contains all 5 main vowels. 7 letters word with this prosperity also include there eulogia, eunomia, utopia. Okay, but this is eunoia is the very shortest word in English. Okay. Now, how to find a dictionary? How to look up a dictionary? Okay, choose the first. Already I said it is a good idea to upgrade your dictionary every now and then. so that you have the access to the latest new words that are added to the dictionary. Consider purchasing specialist dictionaries if they had been useful in your study or your career. Some example of special dictionaries include technical dictionaries. Nowadays, you find all technical terms are there in the dictionaries, rhymes, crosswords, subject dictionaries, that is like maths, chemistry, biology, horticulture. Illustrated dictionary is excellent for learning either language or technical knowledge, slang and idioms, etc. Many universities have subscription to the Oxford English Dictionary that provides in-depth information on the history and origin of the words, its etymology. Note that many countries have their own native dictionaries that might be more helpful than sourcing a dictionary from just anywhere. Okay. Now, parts of speech, I said this is the abbreviation. We know how to, there is abbreviations, okay? And these are the symbols. So before a new part of speech, this is a symbol. Before examples, and before a phrase, and before an idiom, and before an explanation and extra information. Okay, and this is, you should know. Okay, these are the symbols we find, and these are the parts of speech with an abbreviation we find in the dictionary beside a word after the phonetic transcription of that word. You find these parts of speech, and these are the symbols. Now, second, read the introduction. The best way to learn how to use a particular dictionary effectively is to read its introductory section, where you find out how the entries are arranged. The introductory section of a dictionary will explain important information such as abbreviation and pronunciation symbols used throughout the entries. An introduction to dictionaries explain things like how entries are arranged. They typically give the word, the variation of the word, which part of the speech of the word, pronunciation of the word, definition, etc. Reading the introduction will give you a handle on how to find words and how to use the information of that. There also might be information on the pronunciation of the words with similar spelling, but this helpful if you only heard a word that you're not sure of its spelling. For example, if you hear not, it might also be KNOT, but K is silent, and this list can help you with suggestions. So you should read the introductory part. So here you can see this is a transcription, this is adjective, and here it is an adverb, and here there are many meanings for that particular word. Third, learn the abbreviations. Dictionaries often have abbreviations in the definitions for a word. This can be confusing if you don't know what the abbreviations stand for. Typically, a dictionary have a list of abbreviations, I said just now, either in the introductory or after it. So some dictionaries they have in the beginning of that word, some they have after it. For example, ADJ, that stands for adjective. They tell what kind of word you're looking up, either adjective or adverb. Okay. Something like N that has 3 letters things. The most obvious common is noun, but can also stand for neuter or not, depending on the context. So make sure that context of the word where you are looking it for. See the vowels, the very, very important from dictionary. If you are going for the dictionary, you should be thorough in this phonetic transcriptions. So this is a sound, back, back, back. This is that is harm. You're not pronouncing, you're not uttering, sorry, not uttering, you're not articulating R sound here. You're just saying harm. So R is silent. You're not articulating that particular sound. We cannot say letter. Next, oh, oh, stop. Next, I sound. This is diphthongs. I, type. Then ow sound. That is how. This is aya, aya. That is higher. Next, hour. That is hour. You don't say hour. You say hour. Then o. That is course. Then oi. O and I. That is oi. Annoy. Then a. So this is a. That is a. This is a. Head. Then air. Chair. I. E and I. That is a. Make. Then O sound, this is go. Then sound, that is bird. E. So this is long vowel. E and E sound and with two dots. This is long vowel. So keep. We don't say keep. We say keep. Like ship and sheep. Both are different. When you say sha, ha, e, pa, then you say ship. When it is sha, ha, and this E sound, then we say sheep. Similarly. Next one, I. So happy, E sound, that is happy. Then a sound, about, about. Then E, fit, ear, that is near. O sound. So annual, O sound. Pool, we don't say pull, we say pool. O sound. Book. Again, we don't say book, we say book. Then ua sound, tour. Many have said tower, tower, that is wrong, that is two. Then shut, sound, shut. Bus, just it's cutting down. Next one, these are consonants. Consonants are very easy to learn because as the word itself says what sound it must be. So seeing B, you can say ba sound. Seeing B, you can say the sound. And this is the sound. So as I just now I said the, TH is not tha or it is not the. It is because of the phonetic symbol we say whether it is the or sa. So we articulate the sound other. Then this is ja sound, jump. Then fa, fair, ga, gold, ha, head, ya. Don't say this is J, this is ya sound. So yellow, ka sound, cab. So K, don't say K, it is the letter K, but it is the sound ka in English. So cab. Many of you say C is, we say ka sound. No, not at all. It is because of this ka sound we say cab. Then la. So this is live. Ma, mix, na, nil, ing sound, sing, pa, print, ra, rest, sa, save, sha, shop. Like in Telugu and Hindi, you have sha, sa and sha. Here also you have sa, save and sha, shop. Then ta, take, cha, change. So here also many of you CH is cha sound, CH is also ka sound. When you say chemistry, CHEMISTRY, we don't say chemistry. So don't be confused. Because of this cha you say change. But if it is ka sound, then you say chemistry. Okay. Then this is tha, theft, THEFT, tha sound. Then this is wa, value, work. Then this is somewhat ja sound, measure, ja, measure. Then this is the zone. Okay. Now learn the guide to pronunciation. If you immediately jump right into reading the dictionary without understanding the pronunciation guide, it can be difficult to figure it out. So having the idea about the symbols of pronunciation will make it a lot easier for you. The pronunciation of the word will be placed between two reversed words, or like you say parallel lines in your max, isn't it? And with this typically printed in italics, it always have in italical form. The single stress mark precedes the strongest syllable in a word. A double mark precedes the syllable with a medium of secondary stress. Okay. So a single stress precedes the strongest syllable in a word and the double mark precedes the syllable with a medium or secondary stress. And the third level of stress has no marker. For example, penmanship, good, like this, pen, man, ship. The symbol and indicates an unstressed vowel. Here, and is unstressed vowel. This symbol often intrudes between a stressed vowel and a falling ra and sound. So here we can see raw sound as in sur. So SAUR, SOUR, sour. So this symbol R symbolizes the type of R sound that appears in words like caught, fought. Compare this to the symbol a sound, which designates the sound in match, map, snap, and so on. The word doesn't necessarily have to have the letter A to have the type of a sound, because this is a and this is a. Okay. Next, find the section of the dictionary with the first letter of your word. Suppose if you're looking up for a word in a dictionary, how to look a word in a dictionary. First, find the section of the dictionary with the first letter of your word. Suppose, for example, if you're looking for the word dog, first you have to go for the alphabetical order. Okay, first remember alphabetical order. Example here, dog, it begins with D, which means that it will be in the section after C. So A, B, then C, and before E. So in between C and E. So don't forget the possible spellings for trigger words such as gnome begins with the G, or psychologically begins with the P, or knock begins with the K. Okay, etc. If you are not entirely sure what the first letter is, start with the second letter, it sounds like. If you can't find the word under that section, then try other sections. So what I understood, if the first letter, if you're not finding that word, go for the second letter and check it out. For example, if you don't know that psychology begins with, many of you don't know, the psychology begins with P. You might start looking in the yes section. But if you don't find there, what you might do, you have to go for the P section, because you can think along the lines of psychic or psychosis. Also keep it in mind that certain words sound alike that are spelled very differently. For example, a throne and throne. Okay, they are spelled differently and mean very difficult things. So be careful that you end up with the correct word. Read the guide words. These are two words at the top of the page that you tell what type of words are on the page. These words will help you find the word you are looking for in the right letter section. For example, if you're looking for the word bramble, B-R-A-M-B-L-E, you would begin looking in the B section. Okay. You look at the top of the page as you go through it, until you came to the page with the guide words B-R-A-I-D, B-R-A-I-D, B-R-E-A-D. This tells you that all the words between bread and bread are on this page. Since bramble starts with B-R-A-M, it will be in this section. So as always, the dictionary goes in alphabetical order. Bramble will come before bread. Okay, before that is B-R-E, B-R-A, na? B-R-E, before B-R-E comes. Okay. Now, third one is scan down the page for your word. If you're looking for the word futile, for example, you would move past fury, F-U-R-R-Y. After R, then yes, that is either first or fuse, then it comes foot, F-U-T. Since the example word begins with F-U-T, go past after F-U-R, then F-U-S, then you reach F-U-T, area of that page. In this example, move right down through F-U-T and F-U-T-H-A-R-K. And this is where you find that word futile. Okay. If you're looking up a word like futility, but you can't find it, look at the root word to see it mentions the work you're looking for, because futility is adverb. Okay. Okay. Read the definition. Once you have located the word, it will tell you exactly what it means. So first, what you're doing, you're going alphabetically. Second, you know the spelling. Third, you are going with the transcription, then parts of speech. Now, see here, not part. Third, you're going with the spellings, with the pronunciation. Now read the definition. Once you locate the word, where it is, first page, second page, after which word, which letter, all that things. Then you look at, it will tell you what it means. Like it has more than one meaning. It will tell you the most common meaning, common one, first one. So common meaning will be the first one. How to pronounce it, how to capitalize it, is it a proper noun, a pronoun, which part of speech it is, and so on. Quite a few people get daunted by the definitions themselves, because they can involve word that you have to look them. Don't feel discouraged there. See if you can figure out the meaning from the example sentences provided and look up the words you aren't sure. Dictionaries can also sometimes give the synonyms, words that mean the same thing as your word, and antonyms, many few they have. That is opposite. For example, if you have the word the same thing fertile, some synonyms might be fruitless or unsuccessful, and some antonyms might be effective or helpful. So you can also find near, that is nearby word, neighbor word, such as futility. So you might find an etymology, derivation, and history of the word. Etymology is nothing but the history of origin of the word, the history of the word. Even if you don't know the Latin or Greek, you may find with this information can help you. Okay. Now, fifth one, alternately, you could use an online dictionary. So online dictionaries are very easy to use than manual dictionary, isn't it? There you have to check it here just to type or say it in Google. The Google Ma will find it very easily for you, isn't it? So the Google Ma can help you in at any time if you have the online, if you have the phone in your pockets. Choose a suitable free online dictionary or a subscription one in your place of work or study subscribes. So nowadays the students are becoming very, very lazy. Even they are finding difficult to type. So what they're doing, they're just telling that word or pronouncing that word in Google, and they're easily getting it. So my children are doing that work. Okay, leave it. Type in the word you're looking for. The search engine will return the word to you, and definition section should contain most of the elements discussed above. Now make use of the audio content provided with online dictionaries. This can help considerably when you are unsure how to pronounce the word. To use Google to find online definitions, type define futile. Okay. The search engine will only look for definitions. Note that free services may not be as comprehensive as a subscription or book dictionary. So keep this in mind when you're not sure that you have found the right answer. Always check at least 2 different online definitions for that word, what you're looking for. Okay. Now here there is a video where how to look a dictionary and what are the methods of finding a word. How can you locate a word in a dictionary?
Hello. Hi. We all like words. Words are everywhere. Big words, little words, fun words, interesting words. Everywhere. I know lots of words. My favourite word is lizard. It is in here. What's that book? It's my dictionary. It tells you all about words, what they mean, and how to spell them. I'll show you how it works. Look! Can you see? It's full of words. The dictionary puts all the words in alphabetical order, so it's easy to find the one you want. Okay, let's find a word. What word shall we find? How about lizard? It's my favourite word, you know. Here's how to find it. First, you need to think what letter it begins with. Well, lizard begins with L. So now you have to find which part of the dictionary has the words that start with L. Look at the alphabet going down the side of the page. Where's L? There it is. So, lizard must be in this part of the dictionary. The letter L is near the end of the red part. You turn the pages to find the words that begin with L. They are near the end of the pages with the red band along the top. But which page is it on? These words at the top of each page can help us. They are called catchwords. They tell you the first word and the last word that are explained on that page. So now I think about the next letter in the word lizard. It's I. So I find the words that begin with L-I. But the third letter is Z. And L-I-Z comes after L-I-S. So let's try the next page. And there it is, just after live and just before look. You can use your dictionary to find out loads of things. It tells you what a word means. The bit that tells you what it means is called the definition. Look here. It says, a pilot is a person who flies an aeroplane. That's what pilot means. Some words have more than one meaning, so they have more than one definition. Play has 3 different meanings. 1. When you play, you do something for fun. 2. When you play a sport or game, you spend time trying to win it. And 3. If you play a musical instrument, you make music with it. And some words can be used in very different ways, like sink. A sink is a place where you can wash things. We've got a sink in the kitchen at home. Oh, and look here. This is the same word sink, but it's a very different meaning, isn't it? If something sinks, it goes downwards, usually underwater. I like sinking my toy boats in the kitchen sink, especially when there's lots of splashing. And I can use my dictionary to find out how to spell words, so I can check my spelling when I'm writing stuff. How do you spell biscuit? I can never remember. Ah, that's it. B-I-S-C-U-I-T. Biscuit. You can also check all the different spellings of a word that you might need. So the dictionary doesn't just show you how to spell bite, but also bites, biting, bit, and bitten. And not just big, but bigger and biggest too. You can find out other things in the dictionary too. Here are all the numbers. Hey, that's me. And this page tells you the names of all the colours and words for shapes, like triangle and oval. Goodbye. Enjoy your dictionaries.
You have seen that various type, how the dictionaries are used. Okay, how to locate a word in a dictionary, and you can exercise some of the skills. Okay, thank you.